Hey guys, welcome back to Shrinks with Drinks Season 2.
Woohoo! We're there.
We are so excited, but a little bittersweet because, Sherry, we're missing a shrink.
I know. She has some personal stuff going on right now, but hopefully all will be well, and we wish her the best. And stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Beautiful new co-host with us. This is Megan Ladmero. She's a licensed clinical social worker.
So excited.
We are so excited. Megan, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Excited to be here. So I've been here in Las Vegas probably about 20 years. I'm originally from LA.
Nice.
But basically I've been here.
Here?
I'm from here. I went to high school and graduated from UNLV twice. Got my bachelor's and master's degree in social work.
Go Rebels!
And I've been a social worker, licensed social worker since 2006, and a clinical social worker since 2013.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
We have a wealth of clinical experience here.
That's so great.
And I love social work. My favorite probably population, if you would say, is probably children. I did a lot of foster care work.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Cool. Right now I'm doing more medical social work, and it's it's new.
You're doing a little flip side over there, aren't you?
Let me tell y'all, it's different. But I like it. It's different. It's different.
Very
So
good.
yeah. So thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy you.
So what we're going to start off with is everyone's favorite game show, Pick a Topic! So Megan, how this works is you'll pick up our wine glass and there's a bunch of different questions in there. So just pick one and we'll see what you get.
Okay. And we might chime in.
Yeah.
You might chime in.
We might chime in.
maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. See if we like the topic.
No. Right. We went
First,
change the rules of the game a little
see
bit.
what happens.
All right. What'd you get?
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
Uh-oh.
Working with your clients outside your race.
Ooh.
Okay.
That is a good one.
Let's see. And it happens.
Let's dish.
Let's
Yeah.
dish, because it happens often. It happens often, and so I would recommend, and what I've done in the past is just making sure that I am culturally aware of my own self and my own biases before I start working with clients outside of my race.
Very much so.
You know what I mean?
Very
Just
much
because, I'm not the expert of anybody's culture, and even my own. There are things that I have to learn, right?
Absolutely.
So,
all of us do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So just being aware of myself and being aware of my own thoughts, and then the client is always the expert. And so if you ask the client, tell me about your culture. What kinds of things do you do within your family?
Yes.
And and culture can be as simple as your family within your family,
The
right?
unit itself, your family unit.
Right? At
Yeah.
home. It could be as big as your ethnicity, or just kind of what you identify as culture. So I think we need to start there first, is asking the client, the person, what, tell me what your culture is.
That makes sense.
What do you define as your culture?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Great question.
Real good question. It's a very sensitive topic. Very sensitive topic.
I feel like it can be. So, I understand your point, but I think also, too, that I think it's just a conversation that we need to have. And as Megan said, in terms of being more self-aware, that could be one of our biases.
Exactly.
Yeah,
100%.
Right.
Maybe not wanting to address the issue of culture or race, and or raised with people that don't share the same cultural identity or racial identity as we do. So I think that's important.
Very much so.
Good question, good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
So thanks so much for playing Pick a Topic. We only have one question because Sherry has a burning question for us.
Ooh, I do.
Burning.
Stigma. I think that's going to be our topic today. What do you guys think about stigma in the mental health field as clinicians?
I think it
and
exists.
for us,
It definitely
as
exists,
clients too. There's a stigma for both parties involved in this.
100%.
100%. So let's go with clinicians. Stigma about a clinician. Are we really that dull and boring?
Well, you're not.
I think it depends on the clinician. I think it depends on the clinician. I mean, it just depends because we all have our own styles, right? We all
do
have our own
styles.
kind of like,
We do, but every clinician I've ever met, they're alive. They're there to help. They want to help as much as they can.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes in Hollywood we're perceived differently,
Very differently.
than what real life is, what we're really dealing with out there and doing this stuff. Did you guys?
I would say like what I saw from media and movies and Hollywood basically is either we're very straight-laced and buttoned up and super professional, you know, with the power suit on and come and have a seat and tell me about your life. And that's not how it goes. And we have our little pen and paper. And, or the lay on my couch.
Right.
Or it goes to the other side where it's extremely silly. I think in Bad Boys, which, I mean, love Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, but there was the one where he went to the woosah.
Right.
And so people can get that mistaken and think that that's something that we actually do. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I mean, I'll indulge it. But it's not a therapeutic technique. It's not a modality.
It's
not a real thing.
Not they teach us in school, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
I think it's somewhere in between, though. I think that,
Very
you know
much
what I mean,
so.
as clinicians, we develop our own skills and our own styles and that kind of thing. But, you know, we're not all straight-laced and we're all not crazy. But I always tell people, well, I mean, and that's relative, right?
Right, it's relative.
Crazy
That's a relative term. For sure.
But I always tell people, you know, especially when they come in, you know, I am a clinician. We're not cookie cutter clinicians, and so if there is something that you don't agree with or you don't you know like that I do, you know, you have the right to autonomy, and you can choose whether or not you want to stay with me or if you want to choose another clinician, or we can talk about what you like and what you don't like too. So I think
a good point.
Absolutely.
You know, letting them understand that they have the right to pick and choose to who their clinician is a good point.
Such a good point.
Hashtag no cookie cutter clinician.
Woo! I love it. Yes. Woo!
So if you don't like your clinician or you're not vibing, then that's okay. It's all right. You can just pick another one.
You can pick another one. And our feelings, well, maybe a little get hurt, but not really.
I mean, maybe a little, slightly. Because we're human. Because we're human.
We are human.
And sometimes we're like, well, what did I do? Well, what happened? Like,
You know,
so
but
there
really,
is that.
we want the best for
you.
Anybody out there that is seeking any kind of help, we want the best. And whatever the person that you connect with is where you need to be.
Absolutely.
Hi guys, so Sherry's pick of the day. It is an app called Headspace. It is a wonderful app. You can actually get it for free and then you can pay if you need more of it. So what Headspace does, it is a teaching meditation tool. So you can start out, most of us don't know how to meditate, so you can start with little increments and keep moving up and more until you can get that full meditation where you're shutting your brain off for a moment, which is awesome at times. We all sometimes got too much of that chatter going on, and this is a great app. It's called Headspace.
Meditation has been shown to reduce stress, to improve focus, and create the right conditions for healthy, restful sleep. Headspace is guided meditation for everybody, no matter who you are or what you do. Whether you're just starting meditating or whether you've been doing it for years, we can help you to train your mind for a healthier, happier life. To get started, visit headspace.com or download our app.
So is there a stigma about clients? What's the stigma with clients?
Yes, very much so there's a stigma with clients. So I have one, and I think I talked about this last season, that I'm the dentist.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
I talked about that last season. Yeah.
We're watching season 1. Sherry discussed that a client had said that they were going to the dentist instead of going to a therapy
A
session.
therapist. That's correct. So I am the dentist. So it's still out there that if you go to a mental health profession, you're crazy, shall I say, or not doing things, or having issues or problems. There's still that stigma out there with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a little heartbreaking, because I think I went into this field because I wanted to do whatever I could with the tools that I had to help others.
And I think it's, again, we talk about cultural based, right? I think it's based on your culture too. If your family within your
Very much
family
Yes.
has not, they've been like, just suck it up, just suck it up. Like, why are you going to the therapist? Like, why are you talking and sharing our business outside of our family unit? Like, that
Airing your
becomes
dirty laundry.
airing your dirty laundry. That becomes an issue. So
Very much
we had to
so.
think about that too.
Very much so.
I think sometimes there could be a stigma or a bias as probably like new clinicians or first starting out that you say, I don't want to work with one population or another. And that has a lot to do with the clinician themselves. So if you're a clinician and you're starting to say, well, I can't work with this population, not that it's not sort of something, it's basically something that I don't want to do. I'll work with everybody else except for X population. There's a reason for that, and you need to really do some kind of self-discovery and kind of really maybe staff that with your supervisor and see if there's something else, kind of an underlying issue. So there could be a stigma from clinicians to clients in that regard. So again,
Very
it could
much
be
so.
a cultural thing
could
that
be.
they went through, or personal experience, or that, it could be something as superficial as, for me, I was always kind of, I look pretty young, a lot younger than I am. Don't ask me how old I am, I'm not telling. But I'm not in my 20s. I will never tell.
I will never
Yeah.
You're in your 20s?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
are. Yes.
No.
Yes, honey.
Look,
Yes.
not actual. But it was intimidating. And not to say that I didn't want to work with people that were older than me, but it was always like something that I had to figure out for myself of how do I present in such a way that my age doesn't become a topic of conversation or a barrier to treatment. And so that was something
much
that
so.
I had to work through, even though it wasn't even though it was a population that I didn't say I didn't want to work with necessarily. It was something that I was just having maybe some insecurity about. So a lot of times you just have to check that.
And we do have insecurities too.
Absolutely.
Weird.
It is.
We don't have it all together.
That's why we went into therapy, because we're working through our own issues.
Right, that's
Like,
right.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
That was
okay.
grad school.
It's true. I mean, it's true.
Grad school was a whole self-discovery,
Yeah.
self-awareness
So
process.
much, so much.
Wasn't it?
Every single paper.
So what are some of the stigmas that surround mental health in general? I know you touched on it with the whole dentist thing, where some people don't want to even admit that they're going to a therapist. But in general, is there a stigma associated with mental health?
Go ahead, Sherry.
Sorry, that's a good one. Actually got me there.
I know.
I think that there is. I do think that there's a stigma that has to do with mental health, period, across the board. And it could be either or way. So the way I see it is that, like I said earlier, that we're hiding it. We don't want to say that we're doing this. We know that we need to do this, but we're hiding it from our family. And then the flip side is sometimes the stigma of a mental health profession is that they want us to hold their hand a little bit too much. Can I go there maybe a little bit? Is holding their
Let's
hands.
go there. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Right? I mean, and our job is to, and this is what I see is our job is to let you go on your way. We're giving you the tools. We're giving you everything that we know, we understand in this area, whatever it is, so you can move forward on with your life and have that confidence, that freedom, that not needing to fall back and being attached to someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people do. They come in, they expect for you to tell them what to do with their lives. They're like, here I am, I'm presenting the issue to you, so tell me as a clinician what to
is
do.
it?
And you're like, well, no,
Wait,
that's not
it.
That's
That's
not
not
why
it.
we're here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Let's kind of talk about what your options are, and let's talk about what you feel would be the best. kind
And
of
you are the best person to know what is good for your life. You are the
100%.
best person.
Yeah. I always tell my clients, I'm here to help you help yourself. And like you had touched on, we are not an expert on the client's lives. So we can't tell you what to do. We're not here to advice give. We're here to help you explore what wasn't working for you. How did you get here? and how do we move forward?
That's
Absolutely.
correct. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That was a
absolutely.
good question.
Yeah.
You got me there for a little bit.
I know. Yeah. And I know I hate to keep going back to the cultural and beating that whole dead horse, but it's like
No, but it's
it
It's
just
very
depends
important.
on the
It's
depends
vital
on-
that we are aware of it, that we understand as much as we can understand
Right.
the cultural
And I'm glad
aspect
that
of
you
this.
brought up the cultural aspect, Megan, that you kept bringing it to our attention, because what me and Sherry have done is we started doing what we like to call a segment called Street Talk.
Yay! Yes, we do.
So we have been thinking a lot about stigma and mental health, and really how to destigmatize mental health. And so, to your point of culture, there's different types of cultures. There's sexual orientation, there's gender identity, there's your race, there's your ethnicity, there's your family.
There's
So
so
culture
many.
can be defined as many different things. And so what we've done is gone out and just done a bunch of interviews with different people and tried to get their opinions on it. And one of the interviews that I did was with Antonio Sanchez Green and Damon Sanchez Green. And so I'm gonna have you guys watch it and then
Alright.
just kind of see what you guys think.
Okay.
And also don't judge my interview skills. I am Oprah.
We would never, ever.
Yes, honey. Yes.
She got her Oprah on.
Oh, geez.
Oprah, if you're watching, shout out. I'm just saying. Okay.
Oh, look at your
Oh,
outfit.
yes, I had it. Health World, this is your girl, Sarita the Diva, and I am going to interview two lay people. So what that means is these are people that are not in the mental health field, and I will have them kind of introduce themselves. Starting over here, your name, sir,
Antonio Sanchez Green.
and you said?
Damon Sanchez Green.
Awesome. So they are a married couple. And what do you do for a living, Antonio?
Retail corporate.
Okay, awesome. And your industry?
Massage therapist.
Awesome. Okay, so I just have a few questions for you guys. It's going to be really easy and breezy and light. So let's just start off with something easy. What would you define mental health as, Antonio?
Clarity of mind, I guess. The product of the environment that you're brought up in to a degree, I guess. I think that it's hard to describe what mental health
Hard
is.
definition.
Yeah, but it's definitely, I would think it's the atmosphere that you're brought up in and kind of your social norm.
Okay. Damon, anything to add to that, or do you agree, disagree?
I agree. No, I definitely agree. I mean, it's not only brought up, but chemical imbalances. There's a lot of factors that can take part in mental health. So.
Absolutely. So what would you guys would say would be something that would produce good mental health or add to good mental health?
I don't know. Healthy social networks, like healthy habits. I think that would probably.
Antonio?
I think overall, just kind of what your social circles are, being open to speaking to people about what's going on in life, kind of taking everything receptive, taking feedback receptive. My husband always actually says positive affirmations. So
That's a good one.
positive affirmations, I guess, will get you there.
That's definitely a good one. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but mental health in general, particularly disorders, have a certain stigma. So where people don't want to be labeled. And we find as clinicians that there is a stigma about mental health, whether it's a disorder or just mental health in general. What would you guys say have you experienced as far as the stigma?
I know for myself, just at least in the ethnic background, being Puerto Rican, being Latin, I know that it's something that when we look at it, right, it's a stigma that's brought upon by our culture, and it's something we don't talk about. If you essentially say that you may have an issue, you feel that there could be something that is being brought out, or you feel like that you personally could be clinically depressed, could be mood swings, things like that, your family's kind of treat it as something that you don't talk about. You don't. And if you do talk about it, you are essentially labeled as a black sheep, that there's an issue with you. So communication is always key, I guess, like trying to keep channels as open as possible.
Yeah. So my family, my mom was bipolar, manic depressant. So I think the stigma there is I guess myself included, but siblings are terrified that that'll happen to them because of the stigma.
For sure.
So you don't want to be labeled. You don't want to.
So what does it mean, or how was it for you growing up with your mother with a bipolar diagnosis?
I mean, you just realize that sometimes your mom's not your mom. Like, she's a different person. Like, she's not the same person. So, you know, you just kind of learn to ebb and flow with her.
And was that something that you shared with people, or were you kind of also taught to keep things close to the vest as far as her diagnosis
I mean, I probably did not talk about it with my friends. Growing up, you know, the older I got, like, I learned it wasn't as bad as it, you know, like...
As it's portrayed to be.
Yeah, you can open up and talk about it to people, and people are a little bit more receptive. But as, like, a small child, you just kind of...
This is just like whatever bipolar means.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
she's that.
She gone.
Moving on. I don't know what that is. I can't. Sometimes it can get very complicated.
Yeah.
And as far as mental health goes, sometimes it's helpful if people are on medications, but also seek therapists. In y'all's experience, just kind of socially, is that something that if somebody was to go to a therapist, is that something that's talked about socially? Or is that sort of like a taboo subject?
I think it's very open nowadays. Like, at least the people I work with are very open about being like, hey, I'm seeking therapy for this.
Nice.
You know, it's gotten to the point, I think, that it's becoming more of a positive thing than a negative thing. Like, people, anytime I hear people talk about going to therapy, most of the, like, my coworkers or anybody's like, hey, like, awesome, good for you, like, that's great. Everyone can benefit from therapy. So
Nice.
I agree, and I feel like most of friends I have, connections, all have almost like a therapist in their back pocket. I think that it's easy to say sometimes that you have a therapist, and sometimes it's even becoming a little bit more of a trend thing to say I have a therapist, but I guess it's like what you're actually benefiting from it. I don't know if a lot of people are linking up with therapists that makes sense for the actual issues that they have, actual moments and things like that. I think it's just simple to say I have a therapist who was referred to me by so-and-so, and it's easy to do.
So it's kind of like having a trainer then?
Yes.
Okay.
But we do need trainer mind.
Also true. You train your mind, absolutely. That's exactly. I like that. You need to train your mind for sure. In the minority community, you said that you are Puerto Rican. Is that something that you find in the Puerto Rican community that they're as open as far as just from what you've experienced?
I mean, to essentially like just socially acceptable and speaking about even getting help, even talking about it, I don't know if I would say that it is something that is taken as well. I think that is something that if you personally just say that you think that you may be battling with something, it's not something that you sit down and have a conversation with. It's pretty much like, well, there's something wrong with you, and everyone just kind of leaves it alone. So I think that it's not as easy to talk about, and I know within most of the Spanish community, you know, if you're looking at like parent relationships with their kids, they're very close to their kids. However, there's also this arm's at length portion where they don't want to know personal portions of their lives.
I see.
Yeah, so it's a little different. It's
kind of like you don't air out your dirty laundry kind of thing.
Right.
I
think that that there's a spectrum on where it kind of goes and where it kind of lies. But I think that, you know, Spanish parents kind of want to see a safe space, and it's easy to just say that hold things in. And that's pretty much a big thing that I've seen in our Spanish community is you know, hold it in, we don't talk about stuff. If it's something that you're battling with, you just deal with it.
Yeah, it's not going to get you anywhere. That is absolutely true. Especially when you like internalize these kinds of feelings or kind of stuff them, or you're seen as weak for expressing your emotions. Would you say growing up that you were allowed to express your feelings? Was that something in your family culture, in your family system that was encouraged, or not really?
I would say it depends on what family members. Like, so like, I don't know necessarily if I would have always expressed it with like my parents, my mom, but my siblings who were also, they were a lot older than me, so kind of like parental influences. I think I was able to express it with them.
Oh, that's good.
Much, yeah.
That's good. And so now in your relationship, is it easier to communicate your feelings because you had some level of support there from your family
I probably
members?
over-communicate my
I agree.
It's like true story. And Antonio, was that way, was it the same in your family, or?
My family, I think, has always been very openly expressive people for the most part, and I think that if anything, actually, the joke between them is that I'm not overly expressive, or that sometimes
also agreed,
or that I'm too direct. So we are a wide spectrum of personalities. So big personalities, what they say.
We're learning on communication.
You're working on the communication.
We're working on
Okay.
communication.
All right. right. So you guys stay tuned and keep watching more Shrinks with Drinks.
Cheers.
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 That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was really
Your
good. You
interpretive
did give me
skills
5.
were-
You did
Thank
so
you.
good.
Fabulous.
Thank
Fabo.
you.
Fabo.
Y'all can go ahead and comment on that fur though. Yes. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Did you do it? Did you do it? Was it here in Las Vegas?
It
Or-
was here in Las Vegas. Yeah. It's a little street talk vibe. Get my Oprah on.
Okay.
I know. Love it.
Yeah.
That was
So, what did you
great.
guys
Yeah.
think about the answers? Anything
Yeah.
shock you?
No. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes and no.
Yes and no. There you
Yes
go.
and
There you
no.
go. Right. Right.
So, of course, culture, as you hear the culture, it reminded me, because I'm much older.
Not gonna say hi.
I'm a grandma.
Look at that. Smash.
But,
Sexy
so
grandma.
it was always held that, it's a hush-hush situation. We don't talk about that stuff.
Okay.
So when he was talking about the culture and how that's, just put that aside.
Antonio, yeah.
Yeah, just put that aside. We don't look, we
Right.
don't view, we don't talk about.
That's
it's
so
not
true.
there.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, who was the other person? Damon. That his mom had was diagnosed bipolar.
Yes.
And so as a child, he didn't really understand it, didn't know. So it was like
Right.
that stigma. Oh my gosh. And as they got older, he understood that it wasn't as bad
Right.
as what he felt when he was little. So I think it's really was an eye opener for me.
Yeah,
Serious
awesome.
eye opener.
I think the most interesting part was that Damon, how he was
Yeah.
saying that a lot of his people he associates with nowadays are saying, they're saying, yeah, I got a
Yeah.
therapist for that.
Oh, it's
or
totally
I'm
fine.
seeing somebody
Yeah.
for that, and it's not as stigmatized maybe
Yeah.
as we might think it is. Like,
Yeah.
as far as, so
I love
That
that.
was great.
Yeah,
to hear.
yeah,
Yeah,
That was
David
so
gave us
big.
another #train your brain. So
Yes, he did.
Right,
He
he
I
sure
love
did.
that. So thank you for that, David.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
great.
And I thought that was surprising too,
Yeah.
because I really fully expected the answer to be, oh no, it's very taboo. We don't talk about it. Same as in your family, but I guess in your friend or social circles, it's different than
Correct.
in your family unit. So
Right.
I thought that was interesting. The sort of
The dynamics there
Yeah,
going
there
on.
it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The dynamics was very interesting.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, we'll see if there's anything
was
else that
great.
comes up. Yeah.
I loved it. That was so much
Good.
fun.
That was good.
That was
They look
great.
fabulous, by the way, too.
Didn't
They look
So
fabulous.
y'all
They
slayed
did. They
David and
looked
Antonio.
wonderful.
Slayed it. Woo! When I saw them, I was like, have to have you on Shrinks and
Yeah,
Drinks. And they
for
were
sure.
pretty good about it. So it's very exciting to have that. Thank you again, Damon and
Yeah,
Antonio,
thank
for that.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for more interviews. What's up, it's your girl, Shrinks Sarita, here with your Shrink Sound Off. So, I have a lot of good rants, but today, this one's special. And how do you know it's special? Because I have a special fan. So, ladies and gents, when I work in my little therapy office, I don't have any windows. And my therapy office and other offices are all kind of connected. And there is one, count them up, one thermostat to control several offices. So guess what? It work out. And I practiced so hard. Let me do it again. The problem with that is some of us are hot, some of us are cold, and some of us are sauna hot. Like I need an entire fan in order to do therapy. And it kind of is hard to do therapy when you're just sweating and uncomfortable and there's like the air gets like really thick and weird and then your client is sitting there and they're also dying and like the whole thing. So guys, if you build a therapy office and have multiple offices in that one building, please, I don't know, get a fan, get a portable fan, get a portable heater. I have a blanket for the winter months, but I don't need it because they make it so hot in there, like I can't. But that's my Shrink Sound Off.
Hi guys. So today we're going to talk about what we call therapist toolbox. So we're going to have Miss May go ahead and go through what's in your toolbox. What can you share with us in your toolbox?
I mean, there are a lot of things in my toolbox.
Oh,
but
really? Let us tell us.
She's
please.
been a
What am
social
I?
worker
For a
forever.
long time, long time. Came out the womb with social workers. Let me tell you. But the one I want to talk about today is called the square breathing.
Okay.
And square breathing is generally used for people who have anxiety. or who are overthinking things or overgeneralizing things, that kind of thing. And so really, if you think about a square has how many sides? 4! Oh, good. You guys did good in elementary school. So happy. You passed school. That's so great. Great to know.
We did give you 5 on that one. That was hey.
No, 4. I need you guys
I was like, give me 4.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so with square breathing, you're going to literally do 4 things. You're going to take a deep breath, right? And you're wanting to make sure that you, what they call belly breathe. So you want to make sure that you see your belly actually come up, right? And so you're inhaling through your nose, right? And you're watching your belly, right? And it's up, and you're going to count to 4. Sherry's right. You're counting to 4. You're holding it for 4 seconds, right? And then you're exhaling for how many seconds, Sherry? 4 seconds, right? So inhale, exhale.
All
And
right.
You're doing that. The trick is you're doing that 4 times. So that's at least 4 times, right? You can do it as many times as you want to, as less times as you want to, but generally, because there's four corners and 4 sides to a square, you're doing it 4 times. So
And that's
the
really
general thing.
great thing to say because that's an easy one to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
love that.
4,
Yeah.
4, 4, and
Yeah.
so you know you
You're
got
doing it 4 times.
You got to breathe. You're breathing in for 4. You're holding for 4, and you're releasing.
You're
for
exhaling
4.
for 4, and you're doing it at least 4 times.
4 times,
So that's how you
exactly.
get your square, right? Is you're doing it 4 times.
That
Yeah.
is so awesome. I love it. I think
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yes,
It works.
thank you
Thank
for that.
you.
That's
That was
amazing.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
Very
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah.
All right, can shake off the anxiety now.
You feel
And
it?
so
feel
we
it.
did touch a little bit. It has to do with some anxiety.
Right.
And also maybe a little bit of panic attacks or what else was there? I'm sorry.
Just overthinking, overgeneralizing.
Yes.
So we talk about, thinking too much about things sometimes because that is something
That's
that
something
happens.
we all do.
Yeah,
That
that's
happens.
common.
Something we all do.
So yeah, just being
Okay.
able to kind of like ground yourself and be in the moment and realize, okay, maybe I should do some square breathing right now.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
No
So
problem.
therapist toolkit.
Yes.
Now you guys have another tool for your toolbox.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It has been a pleasure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Do leave your comments. We do love them.
Yes.
And also hit the bell notification.
Yes.
So you get notifications of all of our new episodes, like season 2 coming out.
Season 2.
Yeah.
Ring that bell.
Ooh, ring that bell. Thank you, guys.
Also, stay tuned because me and our lovely guest co-host are gonna battle it out lip sync stuff. So we're gonna have to see who
So
wins.
excited.
You guys get to actually vote. Remember, Megan Ladborough. Boo.
Hey.
Oh, no. Woo.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
And then me. Shrink Sarita the diva.
Yeah, okay.
Lip sync battle queen.
We know she's
Yay!
a diva. We know she's a diva.
Okay. We'll see.
So go ahead and vote. And yeah, that's it. Freedom.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Ring my bell.
Oh, ring my bell.
Oh, Rosary Sherry's bell. Comment below.
I'm done.